Well, no, there's an interesting case to be used that the the Second Amendment doesn't mean that people should be able to directly own firearms in America.
Oh, this guy?
Who? You looking up Destiny?
Norman?
Oh.
No.
Yeah, Finkelstein. That guy's also like a super racist. It's really funny.
Who's he racist against?
His Hispanic neighbors.
Oh.
Yeah, talking about getting him deported, just stuff like that.
Seriously?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. If you look up, that dude's kind of wild.
Why are you having me...
That dude's kind of wild. No, I'm saying he's a bad guy. I don't think you should listen to anything he says.
Okay.
I'm just asking if you knew who he was or not.
Now, what did you mention right before that?
Uh,
Oh, about the Second Amendment. People shouldn't... Oh, I think when it was written, like, it had no concept of the amount of death and destruction that you can cause with firearms.
yeah, you could parse that out, but realistically, it's not a individualistic right to bear arms. What it is a state
Communal responsibility.
No,
to
it's
protect.
it's a state right to be able to protect yourself from the federal government. Because if you read the Federalist Papers when they were trying to form the federal government, the thing that they're getting at is why should a state join the federal government? Because you're giving up your authority to a bigger body, and people didn't want to do that. And that was the thing of like, if you ever feel like the government's gonna like misappropriate their power, misuse their power, target you, stuff like that, then that's what the Second Amendment was for, was so that you could stand up against government. But nobody's gonna do that because they're all a bunch of cowards anyways. Hey, more.
Oh. So that's actually a good and segue to say, like, nobody's going to stand up against the government, especially if that government is like the one...
The Unipal? Or what?
Talking about Hamas.
No, it's unlikely that they... Well, okay. But what I'm saying there is that they need to have a civil war.
They need to have a civil war?
Yeah. Hamas needs to want to fight for their own rights against I'm sorry, not Hamas. The Palestinian people need to fight for their rights and need to want to have different rights from what the Hamas government is giving them. If Hamas refuses to... If they can't have elections to remove Hamas from power, then the Palestinian people need to have some form of like civil revolution against their government.
Like in the case of Syria.
In what sense in Syria?
The Syrian civil war was ended in like some 11-day upheaval.
Oh, sure, maybe. Like, I'm not disagreeing with that as a fact. I'm just saying, sure, maybe like that. I don't know the specifics of that fact. I don't know the specifics of that case to say it should be like that.
Okay.
But I believe you.
All right. So my only problem with that is when a country is going through a civil war, especially a country that is otherwise not necessarily disregarded, but it is not spoken about with enough concern for the involved parties, right? Like Syria has suffered since we were in school. Like that has been a pretty common topic. And if you do think that we should be the policing, the globally policing entity, or have some degree of influence,
I think that is entirely a moral ethics argument.
right.
I think if you have like, I think if you are a person who has the means to help a situation and to fix a situation, you should do everything within your power to do it. So morally, ethically, we should be doing that, yes. But that's a different argument than whether or not they want to allow us to come into their state or their governing.
Well, if you let Hamas decide, they won't, because obviously Western intent
Sure.
does not correlate. But if it's pretty obvious that the people suffering,
If they were committing atrocities, if the Hamas government was committing atrocities against the people, then yeah, it's a pretty cut and dry. It's pretty cut and dry. Like, yeah, we should step in and prevent the atrocities.
Well, I don't think Hamas is necessarily causing atrocities
They're
against
not.
Palestinians because that's who they're fighting for.
Arguably, they
Okay, whether or not it's
arguably yes, yeah, arguably I agree, yeah. There are like some cases that you can make that they're not actually fighting for their people because they're like they will gladly use their people in certain ways to like create propaganda films of like
sure,
it's esoteric.
If they are so radicalized that they're just anti-Israel, like that is their only intent. It's not necessarily like the independence of their people, right? Then that is, again, it's going to get boiled down to the individual. But my thing is, and I agree that, yeah, a moral and ethical standpoint is if you are in a point or a place or position of privilege that you can help, you should. It's a fringe ideal of noblesse oblige.
Okay,
right?
sure.
Like
I haven't specifically heard that one, but yeah, I believe you.
I absolutely agree with that, and you can't have anything done without putting in, like, nothing worthwhile, at least, without, like, putting in effort.
Now, you could argue that
Don't
maybe America shouldn't be the people who are in the position to do that, and maybe what we decide is right maybe isn't actually right. That's a little bit different, but yeah.
That's true. I mean, like, everybody's not going to agree with something.
Sure.
But I think that the globally, all right, there is a pretty negative viewpoint or consideration of the Trump administration because
Sure.
it has just been affecting everyone negatively.
Sure.
And it has
And America should be punished for what they've done to the world stage because of Trump.
what?
America should be punished for what they did to the world stage because of Trump.
I don't necessarily think.
Well, we've hurt world economies, we've hurt world relations, we've arguably exacerbated some conflict situations in other places. Like
Absolutely, but I don't necessarily think that that's a reason to punish people. That,
I don't. Okay,
I do think that Trump took advantage of the ideologies of people. Like, you want, make America
But I mean, like,
great again.
sure.
That's great. But if you're just going to lie through your teeth.
but I mean, like, we should make a reparations. I don't mean like punish like we need to like lose land or something. But I think like America needs to make amends for what they've done to the world stage.
Oh, they need to make amends for.
I think morally they need to.
Yeah, but that's never going to happen. At least
No, it
they're
won't.
gonna-
Well, arguably, the way it happens is you get somebody who's sensible back in power, and then U.S. aid starts back up, and we start helping prevent AIDS in other countries. We start helping do all these things again, and that is kind of making amends by some weird roundabout way. But
Okay.
it's kind of not. Yeah.
I guess the point that I was trying to get at is everybody has a pretty negative belief of what's going on in Gaza, right? That there are people
Sure.
suffering unnecessarily and unjustly, and nothing is necessarily.
Yeah.
Even if they
It
are
sucks.
receiving the most amount of aid, it's obviously not effective. So, like,
Well, it kind of. Like, it's not effective, but it's not effective because, like, the governing body that they have elected is. Yeah.
but why isn't
So, like,
Israel
okay,
letting
why don't they have
anybody
drinking water in Israel? Or not Israel, Gaza. Why don't they have access to, like, clean drinking water and wells and stuff like that?
Maybe because the entire.
If you don't know,
area is being
well, if you don't know, I have specific reasons as to why. And the reasons are, like,
If Israel has dropped more bombs than they've killed people, that can't have been good for the
When they-
infrastructure that otherwise would have.
it's because Hamas. Okay, so there's so much humanitarian aid that goes to building wells and building pipes and stuff like that there, which then get destroyed, dug up, and turned into crude rockets that get fired at Israel. I am dead serious on this.
How? Explain that one to me.
So the pipes that you use to make the well, they get dug up by Hamas and turned into crude rockets. So we send humanitarian aid to give them drinking water. The infrastructure that gets created for the drinking water gets destroyed, and then the pipes and everything get turned into crude rockets.
What kind of a fucking rocket are you going to make out of a water pipe?
A crude rocket that gets shot down by the Iron Dome.
And you're just saying Hamas is doing this thing.
Yes. This is a known thing that happens. This is
Known
not.
by whom?
I mean, we can look it up specifically. I suppose I haven't specifically looked it up, but Hamas crude rockets water pipes. Hamas militant video reveals how its rockets are made. This is from Times News. I don't know. Israel Ministry. This is a video from the Israel Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Liber Institute West Point. Qassam rockets. Weapon review and collective terror as a targeting system or strategy. So there's an example of them, if you want to see them. Hamas's military wing, the Izz Din al-Qassam Brigade, AQB. In the pursuit of its objectives to obliterate Israel, use a variety of weapons, including variants of Qassam rockets, to direct acts of violence at Israel. Hamas confirmed that it has local factories for everything for rockets. We are building it in Gaza.
Okay, so if there are local factories, then why have they not been taken out?
The factories, they do take them out when they can, like when they identify where they're at. Yes, that's why the bombs deployed to the civilians killed is such. It's like it's relatively low. Like if Israel was actually trying to just unfettered kill a bunch of citizens there, it'd be super easy to do. Obviously.
Obviously, they have the means, but if you are on a global stage, you have to be meticulous about the otherwise cultural genocide.
I would agree.
Because I can't just use.
I would agree, but so what would be the evidence that they're not?
That they're not what? Committing genocide?
Being careful on their targets.
How many accounts of established safe zones for refugees, which have then been bombed? How many of those?
If they establish a safe zone,
and they say, hey.
If they establish a safe zone, and it is being used as a safe zone, is it being attacked, or is it being taken over and used as a new military outpost? Okay, so let's.
I get what you're saying.
So here's a different. Here, you respond to it first, and then I'll kind of.
If Israel says you need to go to this area, like this is for refugees,
it's a designated safe area,
right? And you have all of the population move to that area, and then you, Israel, bomb it.
Yeah, that would be bad. That would be horrible.
So that how can you? Look
but they don't do that.
Can you?
So the case that you're specifically talking about is Israel told people, like, we want you to evacuate this area, and this is the path you're supposed to take. And then I believe one of the evacuation paths got hit. I believe is the specific case that you're talking about.
And you think it's just a one-off?
I believe it does not happen as often as it is portrayed to happen.
Okay.
Because Israel, who is the biggest critique or critic of Israel is Israel itself. Israel has news organizations that promote messages against Israel's own what they're doing. So they have freedom of speech there also. So they have their own people within Israel that are like, hey, we think this is bad. You know what I mean? So they do. Not everyone in Israel is all on the, yeah, let's destroy everything and scorched earth.
Okay.
But
I'm not saying that all Israelis have the intent.
And I don't think you are. I don't think you are at all.
But okay, how many?
As a governing body, what, when you talk about human rights violations or possible war crimes, stuff like that, what?
Okay, if
what responsibility do you have to make sure that your own population is not being targeted because you're attacking in civilian clothes and you're not identifying yourself as combatants?
You're saying guerrilla warfare?
In general, yeah. Well, I would say guerrilla warfare is a bit different when you're you are coming out of the woods, striking a place, and then disappearing back into the woods. What they're doing is hiding among their own population and then doing attacks.
Okay, so I think the reason that they are at least viewed as hiding is because they are just Palestinian people who have just been galvanized in if you are raised in one environment of being demonized, right? Of like, you're Hamas, is your elected government, yada yada yada, and then treated in a way that they have been treated for however many decades that
Sure.
Israel has been.
I would say self-inflicted, but we can
I don't
parse
think,
that out.
Okay. It's pretty easy to sow a resentment and to really ossify
Sure.
against Israel.
Sure.
So, and I mean,
But tensions were low because they were even like Palestinians were working within Israel proper.
God, what is that fucking name? I want to say it's
Is that a person's name or an
no,
act?
it's a settlement's name of basically like
Settlement C? I don't know.
like Israel's
Uh-huh.
encroaching in on a Palestinian town or fucking suburb
It's
equivalent.
land somethings, but or not land swaps. That's something different. But it's
But what I'm saying is Palestinians were kind of treated like second-rate citizens in their own country. And even though it is their country, the governing effects were
I agree. Like,
felt by Palestinians.
but I'm not
influenced-
disagreeing on the settler thing. But again, that's within like
I guess the point that I'm trying to say is like, I'm a Palestinian and I hate Israel. Like, why am I going to hide amongst other Palestinians? We are all suffering collectively.
No,
and
I'm saying-
even though you
I'm
just
saying-
want the fighting to end, I have like hate in my heart, right?
right. But I'm saying the Hamas combatants
Yeah,
hide within the Palestinian people, the civilians.
they are part of it though. That's like, I think that is what.
Okay. If I follow that logically, it sounds like you're arguing that all Palestinians are combatants.
No. Okay, so
You're saying all Palestinians should have a justified reason to hate Israel and to want to wipe Israel off the map, right?
no.
Because of what they're doing.
I think you're going to have two, or like at least a varying view. Some people just want to be left alone or like in the suffering. Other people are going to have that hate or pain galvanized, towards someone. And if that someone is Israel,
Sure.
then it's always going to create some kind of dissident or like this is
Sure.
yeah. So like they're
I don't
not necessarily
disagree.
hiding; they are just
No, I'm sorry. I'm talking about
inherent to that
the
suffering.
fighters, the people who are combatants,
Yeah.
who would be a legal target in a war. They're hiding amongst their own population. They don't wear uniforms. They don't go to like specific organizations or locations that are outside of their conflict zones. You don't have, or like outside of, like they hide in apartment buildings. They hide in schools. They hide in hospitals, and they conduct their war from those locations.
Okay, and how effective is that war if you've got rudimentary missiles that are just going to be shot down by the Iron Dome? And
I agree. It's
a
not going well for
fraction
them,
of
but
a-
like, what? How does that immoral of Israel that the war's not going
Then
well
I'm
for Palestine?
saying you, with the Iron Dome, are
Uh-huh.
fighting against people who are equipped with the fucking veritable or like the equivalent of a fucking stick, right?
Sure.
Why are you using that as a reason to like, oh hey, they're hiding behind some hostages, they're using them as human shields, let's bomb the entire fucking place. Like,
So you're trying to say that it's immoral for Israel to hit a place with human shields?
absolutely.
Okay. Who's it more immoral for? Israel or Hamas?
What do you mean? Who is it more?
What
immoral for?
who's being more immoral in that?
Israel. They have the means and the
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
Again, okay. If Hamas is fighting with weapons that are so
Okay, so let's
archaic
say-
and antiquated that there is no means of overthrowing, right?
Let's say a person robs a bank and takes someone a hostage.
Yeah,
Okay, he's using them as a human shield
right,
and shooting at cops.
right. And there are
And then the
people-
cops
Yeah.
shoot, like, let's say they're holding 3 people. One person is holding 3 people hostages and using them as human shields to shoot at
Absolutely.
cops.
Okay.
Okay. And then the police,
Blow up the entire building?
they shoot all the people and they end up killing all the people and they kill the person who was shooting at the police.
Yeah, the police are at fault there.
Who's immoral?
The police there.
the police are the ones who are being immoral?
Absolutely. If
I would argue that the person who's taking human hostages and human shields is the person who's being the most immoral.
I think they are obviously at fault.
Because you're
but-
involving someone in a conflict that they have no part in being in a way that they're not like necessarily consenting to.
Right, but with that kind of argument, you are devaluing, like, oh, hey, if I can just put all the blame on this individual, like, they are the immoral party, and who gives a shit as far as collateral damage?
I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm saying it is immoral to shoot human shields if you can avoid it. Yes, 100% you should absolutely avoid it. But I'm also saying that the people who are taking hostages and using human shields are the people who are actually more immoral and more unethical. Like, if I grab a baby and I hold up a baby and I'm like shooting at you and you have to shoot me and kill me and you end up hitting the baby, like, yeah, you probably didn't do a good job. Like, you were immoral in doing that, but also you're not the one who decided to pick up the baby and hold the baby and use the baby as a human shield. That's...
Okay, that is... I get what you're trying to say, but
Yeah.
again, like, if you're going to use the argument that, like, this guy's intent is so outrageous and so inflammatory that...
You take a hostage, ask for consent.
it
Sorry,
kind of,
I just didn't see. Blow up the whole bank. Hell yeah. Fuck the money.
Okay, I get what you're saying there, but that argument just kind of at least exonerates the other party, who, if you are the at least authority that is trying to like get some semblance of peace, like you need to fucking try harder than just bombing an entire. And again, like,
Would you agree that it takes
Palestinian-
two people to make peace? Like, it takes to the two groups. Both groups have to equally want peace, right?
And we've already established that Netanyahu, that is not in his
Okay.
like, best interest. And
Okay,
it's
but
not
both
in
groups have to
Hamas's.
want peace, right?
Yeah, that helps.
Well, for peace to happen, right?
No,
Like,
you
let's
can
say one-
eradicate
let's say
one
one-
pers- You can eradicate one party, and then there will be.
But that wouldn't be
opposition.
peace.
To who?
Well, peace
They
is
don't
like
exist
no,
anymore,
but
right?
peace is having like you're saying like I'm not speaking peace as like a tranquility, harmony, like abstract concept. I'm saying peace in the concept of like you have two people who are at conflict,
Right.
and they're agreeing civilly to cease their conflict. Peace.
That's one way. You
No,
can-
that's not agreeing civilly to end a conflict.
again. If you remove the opposition, then there is no voice to
That's-
argue. Right?
That's not
against it.
peace, though.
It is now because there's no
No,
opposition.
it's not.
Yes.
No, you're saying peace in an abstract concept of like nothing, like the room is peaceful because nobody exists within the room. So
No.
everything is still and everything is peaceful.
No.
That's how you're using the word peace there.
No, there's still a party there, but it's just not the opposition party, right? If it's you and me and we're
Okay.
disagreeing, right? If we both
Okay, I
come
see
to
what
the
you're
term
saying.
of,
You're
like,
saying if they only specifically kill Hamas, not every single Palestinian.
well, or if they just like get rid of either one. I'm saying if they like,
But I'm okay. I'm going to back it up again. I'm going to ask you again. Peace can only be obtained through both parties wanting it. Is that correct?
I mean, that is one course of action to achieve.
But that's the
peace.
only way to have a peace treaty.
Again, if you remove the opposition by whatever means,
I wouldn't say that's peace.
well, again, the people who argue
You
what
might
it
make
is
peace
and
with
isn't-
you might make peace with the next group of people.
Okay,
But I'm saying that is not peace.
right. It's genocide, right?
You could call it probably not, unless you're killing everyone.
Okay, all right.
But
Let's say there's two, like you had established. Your idea of peace is yes,
two people have to
both
come together
people
and make an
coming-
agreement to civilly end the conflict.
If one kills the other, there is no longer any body of opposition to this.
Sure.
Like, that is
That is not peace, though.
what is it then? Because now there's no conflict.
Right. But I'm not saying peace is peace doesn't mean no conflict. Like I said, you could have a room that is empty and
Yeah.
nothing's moving in it and everything is peaceful, but that is not peace. Peace is a civil agreement to end a conflict between two parties.
I think that's a parlay.
No, parlay would be discussions.
Again, discussions
Would be civil
of peace,
discussions.
right?
Parlay would be civil discussions
Which is a temporary peace to.
that you're going to come and talk.
Yeah.
Sure, I mean you could argue that it's temporarily a peace, but I'm saying that's not. I'm saying to achieve peace, you need two parties that both want to reach peace, right? They both want to civilly end the conflict, to have a peace treaty between two people, right? One person can't make peace with the group that doesn't want peace, right?
And vice versa, yeah.
And vice versa, yeah. The other, and if neither party want it, sure, you can't make peace. You need to make peace. You need two people who both want to make peace, right?
And we've established that neither Hamas
That
nor
doesn't matter.
Netanyahu. Okay, so you're saying that me equating or making the argument that like removing an opposition is the equivalent of peace. 'Cause
That's not the equivalent of peace, though.
Okay, so then how is Netanyahu and Hamas, neither one of them having peace in their like actual like beliefs or intent, right?
I don't think I ever specifically mentioned Netanyahu or Hamas. All I said was, to make peace, you need two groups that both want to have peace, right?
Okay, so are they just? Is this not going to be an argument to like correlate with?
I mean, it will probably. I don't fully remember. It's such a no-brainer. Okay. I don't want to accuse you of being in bad faith.
Being in bad faith?
Yeah, being in bad faith is when you're like arguing a point that you like you may not necessarily agree with, or like you don't necessarily agree with the way you're arguing, just because like you want to try and head off some argument that you think might be
Okay,
coming.
how about this? There's more than one way to skin a cat, and if that in
But that's not
product
peace,
is
though.
peace.
I'm using the strictest, most okay
Okay, look up
Peace.
What is peace?
treaty
Not
definition.
treaty, just what is peace?
Well, okay, fine. We'll
Because
use
peace treaty is like it's
peace
a certain-
definition. Freedom from disturbance, tranquility.
Okay.
So you're saying if there's a room with nobody in it, is
No,
how
no,
you're
no, no, no.
you're using it as a abstract concept.
No. I'm not saying that there's a room with nobody in it. I'm saying that the two parties. party
You're
A and
you're trying
party
to
B-
say okay, so a state or period in which there is no war or a war has ended.
Exactly.
Right. So I am saying for two people to make peace, they would need two.
That is one way to achieve peace.
Okay.
The other way is to end the war by eradicating the opposition.
To make war.
No, again, so this is like the parsing of words. Like, if you have two people that want peace, but you know one of them doesn't, like, why would I agree with somebody when it'd be so much easier to ensure that my views, my culture, my, like, values are going to remain, like, present? I'm just saying.
It sounds like you're literally just restating my exact question.
I don't agree with it. I want
No,
people
like
to
I
achieve
just
peace.
said. No, like I just said. It sounds like you're really just restating everything I just said. To make a peace between two groups, they both have to want it. And you just said if one person wants it and
Absolutely.
if another person doesn't,
You kill that other person and you still have peace.
I don't think so. I think that would be a bloody conflict and not peace. That's not peace. You have not created peace between two groups.
What are you talking about?
You've created one group.
That's look at okay. What did peace say again?
I am talking about peace between two groups of people.
So you're saying both groups have to like be.
I'm saying to create peace between two groups of people, a civil end to a conflict. Both groups have to want it. If one person wants to keep creating conflict and one person wants to put an end to, like, wants a civil end to the conflict, they will still have conflict.
Okay. What? So then, if I agree with this,
If Group A wants to stop fighting
right?
and doesn't want to fight anymore,
Group B
and Group B wants to fight to the death, and Group B keeps attacking Group A, they will still definitionally have conflict, even if this. And they've never heard of another person. If Group B still wants, they still have conflict, right?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
So for them to have a civil end of the conflict, both groups would have to want peace, right?
Okay. Well, I'm gonna say yes just to get to the next point.
Okay. Well then, The Palestinian people have to want the conflict to be ended. Netanyahu also would have to want the conflict to be ended, yes. But they have to want the conflict to be ended. I don't even remember how I got onto this because we're arguing about a stupid semantic thing when I'm trying to remember exactly what you said before. I could rewind it and I guess listen back. But essentially, like...
Okay, so then let's take the Palestinian people. If you're living in an environment that has to receive...
Does he read messages? I don't read messages. I looked at him briefly for a second, but we're talking about political peace treaty or peace as a concept. Everyone is friendly and happy. Yeah.
Okay, so if I'm living in that environment, right? I don't know when the next airstrike, when food, any kind of humanitarian aid will go. And my whole day-to-day process is just survivability. Like, the last thing I'm thinking about is the political fucking zeitgeist of, like, oh, what is Hamas's beliefs, right? Like, I'm looking out for me and my own. That is it.
Sure.
They're in a state of survival. They are not worried about, like, oh, when are the next fucking polls going to be coming around, right?
Sure. I would agree with that, but also then...
You're putting such a huge weight on a people that are being subjugated, right?
I am not. So I am strictly okay. In the strictest sense of everything.
Uh-huh.
If Hamas keeps attacking Israel, and Hamas can never win.
In futility, right?
In futility. There can never be a peaceful resolution to the situation until there are people in power that want to vie for peace.
Okay.
And the conflict will persist until then.
Okay. With
the
point being...
The only way... I don't remember the full point. You'd said something that had, like, made me think of it.
Right, so that puts the responsibility on the Palestinian people to come up with some
either new leadership
appointee.
or... Yeah.
Right?
They either need to do new leadership or...
They are in no position to have any kind of a election, right?
If you hold a gun and I hold a gun and we can talk about the law, if you hold a knife and I hold a knife, we can talk about rules. If you this is from Apocalypse Now. If you come empty-handed, I come empty-handed, we can talk about reason. But if you have a gun and I only have a knife, then the truth lies in your hands. If you have a gun and I have nothing, what you hold isn't just a weapon, it's my life. Concepts of laws, rules, and morality only hold meaning when they are based on equality. I don't think that's inherently true, though.
Why not? I mean... Okay, sorry. I interrupted. I do think that has a certain degree of, like, whoever has...
I think it feels true. I think it feels true more than it is true.
Okay.
Do you feel like you are being oppressed in society currently? Like, I mean, true, like, oppression.
Sorry. I had to... I'm going to try and not make any jokes.
You can make a joke if you want. I don't care.
No, I do think that... And again, this is...
But there are people that are telling you what the status quo is.
I think that there are, like...
And you don't have any means to go against it, right?
Means against, like, what? The socioeconomic disparity?
Like, okay, so the federal government holds a monopoly of power, correct? In the United States.
Sure, yeah. Because
like, you as a citizen, you as an individualized citizen, there's nothing you can do to stop that, right?
Okay, sure.
But, like, if you hold a gun and have nothing, what you hold isn't just a weapon, it's my life. The concept of laws, rules, and morality only hold meaning when they are based on equality. But you can still agree with the laws, even though you don't have, right?
Agree with what laws?
Like the general laws and like of America, like as a U.S. citizen.
I mean, I don't agree with necessarily all of them, and I don't think that if you are going to follow them, you need to follow them to the fullest extent. But this is also, okay, going back to the privilege thing, I think living in a technologically advanced,
sure,
like, that has been great, right? The immediacy of information that I have on my phone has helped me be more connected, not only globally, but nationally with everything going on. But if I have no means of...
I think there are tons of people out there who have they have power in their hands in the sense of like having a gun or something, and they don't enforce rights, morals, stuff like that on other people.
What do you mean?
Okay, so this is why I think that statement. Disregard my messages. Sorry for interrupting. This is why I think the statement feels true. Is because the way it feels true is that the feeling is like instilling like powerlessness in a group, whereas another group holds the power. So logically, this is why it feels true, but isn't, because it doesn't actually. It's not actually true and logical. Is it? You think that you can only listen to what they have to say, and they have all the power to dictate how everything should go, and they do. That's why it feels true, but I don't think it's true, because by that logic, the U.S. owns the world, right?
I don't necessarily.
We hold the gun.
Everybody.
We hold the nukes.
If the nuke is the proverbial gun in this sense,
and is the proverbial like the ultimate power, right?
Right. That is the mutually assured.
And America has more of them than any other country.
More of them has nothing to do with it. Even having one of them, you can.
No, but having more of them.
Okay, again, this gets back into like the amount of tax invested into the.
But no, I'm saying this is why it is not true.
So you're saying having strength of character.
Can Argentina, like, we could go dictate laws to Argentina and own Argentina right now, right? We could go own Greenland right now, right? Like, if we went to Greenland and took it over, like, there's nothing that could actually stop us, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, because it's a part of Denmark, right?
It's owned by Denmark, yeah.
So isn't Denmark
can they stop America?
They are an ally. Is
Yeah.
that how you treat friends?
Oh, okay. So holding the gun and having the power in this situation doesn't mean that we don't have equity, or it does mean we have equity and equality. Because you're saying even though we have the power, they're our ally, and we're not gonna take equality or equity from them, because we have a mutual agreement, even though we have the power in this situation.
Well, we utilize Greenland, right? Because
no, it has cobalt mines
do.
on it, but it's actually not. It's not being utilized.
Okay, we don't necessarily.
But that's not the point. The point is just because one person holds a monopoly of power doesn't mean that there's not equality or equity. That's why it's not actually true. It just feels true, but it's not actually true.
No, I'm pretty sure Greenland is what gives us access for some Atlantic trade.
Well,
Greenland is
America ensures shipping lanes all across the world. That's why we went into Yemen and attacked the people there, because they started attacking trade vessels. That's why we stopped the Houthi rebels, because they were attacking trade ships, trade vessels, and they were disrupting global trade, which was affecting everyone. That's why even China supported that action.
Yeah, but then China later went and dug that fucking it's
probably some canal.
Exactly.
But that's fine.
Okay.
But that's not a problem though, because we want free global trade. Because America benefits from. Yeah, absolutely.
We're not a manufacturing country, though. We don't export. The only thing we export is shit.
We do.
Hardly anything.
We do in-level manufacturing. We don't do base level.
Okay.
But you don't want to do base level.
Okay, but if we are reliant on most every other country, not necessarily for food,
Do you think America's in a worse financial situation than any other country in the world?
I never said that.
Well, I didn't say you did.
No.
So if we don't do our manufacturing, does that mean that we're not doing well?
What I'm saying is that if we want free global trade, then is going to be people aren't going to be as reliant on us, and they are going to realize that, and that is what,
no, that's always been the case.
What has always been the case?
Nobody's relying on us. The reason people are relying on the U.S.
We're the global superpower. We are the dictator of global.
And one of the
authority.
things that we do is ensure free global trade. That's why, even though it wasn't an American trade vessel attacked, we went in and stopped the Houthi rebels because it was stopping global trade.
Okay, I guess what
That was a
I'm
Japanese
saying,
vessel, like piloted by like the Dutch, I think.
Okay, no, what I'm saying is that if
Warmonger
we
Tanif.
have,
I am a warmonger.
if we control the global trade routes, right?
We ensure
or-
their
or
safety and their
protection.
security.
Sure, right, because we rely on global trade.
Yeah, we want it. It's good for us, yeah.
But also because everything is based off the U.S. dollar, the U.S. economy. If that is their representation of like,
That helps, but
value, right? We want to.
we get the most. I would think that we definitely get the most benefit out of it.
So then, if other countries were to pursue,
But they're benefiting from it. If they were to pursue what?
if countries that normally exported to us goods that they were reliant on our income for to maintain their
If they stopped
government,
exporting
right?
goods to us, okay.
If they went somewhere else because
If they exported their goods to another buyer, okay.
right, so really they are no longer reliant on the U.S.
Right.
So then,
I don't know what you're saying, actually.
okay, well originally I was getting back to the authority as far as like having the gun.
Sure.
Okay, if
America holds the most power in the world, yeah. We have the
Okay.
biggest military economy and like the most money in our military, such that you even cited earlier that the next 5 countries don't even spend as much as the U.S. and 4 of them are our allies.
that is true. So then, what is our argument for the perpetuation of any kind of suffering, right, over in Palestine?
What is the? Well, oh, okay, hold on. I'm simply focusing on that one
Okay.
statement. The reason that's why it feels true, but it is not true.
Okay,
Because we hold the monopoly of power, but we haven't taken over Switzerland. We haven't taken over Peru. We haven't taken over Argentina. These places they couldn't physically stop us, but we still ensure that we have like equality and equity between us, not like, even though
yeah, I'm trying to figure out the best way to.
that's why it's not inherently
articulate
true.
this. Okay, well, I mean, I do think that
What you're trying to get at is that like if they disagreed and wanted to fight against us, then they can't do that. So even if we were morally wrong in asserting that equality and equity,
yeah,
then
but okay, so I keep you saying
if you
us,
weren't
but
considering how
what
much money
I
you put into MIC
what I am
into,
trying
like,
to
Mike's?
convey is
or
like,
wait, MIC, oh, military industrial complex.
what I'm trying to convey is that like why is Israel like not doing their part? How about that? Right? If they are the immediate most
What if doing their part to what?
how am I trying to articulate this?
To pursue peace is probably what you're trying to.
They don't want peace though, right? We already said
Why aren't they doing their part to do what?
if to eradicate Hamas, if that is the
But they are.
they're eradicating just arbitrarily, right? Because if Hamas
No, whenever
is
they
hiding
identify-
amongst,
Uh-huh.
right? If Hamas is just hiding in, all of like the Palestinian people, like they're never
Yeah.
actually going to find Hamas, right? Because that's
Hamas
anybody.
doesn't properly
Never.
report their own numbers, yeah.
Right. That's
Why would they?
yeah. It's like just a red herring for them, or sorry, the Israeli government currently
Uh-huh.
Netanyahu and the highly conservative like
Okay,
the Zionist movement. Okay.
sure.
They are obviously trying to like have the systematic like breakdown of the otherwise like Palestinian country to move in, right?
I don't
They
think
are
so.
Not
I think they want an end to the conflict. Netanyahu doesn't want an end to the conflict, but he doesn't pursue the conflict. He'll take every opportunity he can, every opportunity that Palestine gives him to follow up on it and to either claim more territory or take an offensive strike or do something. Yes, but they're not trying to pursue conflict. Because every person that they've created a treaty with, they've held to. They haven't violated any of their treaties.
Did they not have a treaty with Iran before they
I don't think so.
bombed them?
I don't think so, because the concern is that Iran's trying to spool up uranium to do a nuclear strike on possibly Israel.
Okay, but that is a claim that Netanyahu has had for
I mean, we can look up Iran.
early 2000s.
I think Iran funds Hamas, don't they?
Iran funds Hamas?
I think so. Iran supported groups in the Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
Quds Force of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guards.
Okay, can you, after your...
Well, actually, here, let's just back up.
Has Netanyahu...
Who funds Hamas?
Okay, and I don't think Netanyahu is directly funded.
Key sources of funding: Iran, Qatar, internal governance, taxation, and then their own global, like cryptocurrencies, stuff like that.
Okay.
So yes, they directly receive funding for Hamas from Iran.
All right. Has Netanyahu had any kind of part in allowing that, like exchange of goods or perpetuation of influence or power?
I don't know what you're quite asking.
I'm saying Netanyahu has known that Hamas is a concern, but has continued to let it persist, right? Until it like kind of blew up into this October 7th, which is a... Like,
Is Hamas... We agree Hamas is the government of Palestine, right?
Okay, sure, they are...
It's the governing body.
administrating-
It's the
yeah.
people administrating the government of Palestine. If the Palestinian government wants to accept foreign funds for anything, is it moral or ethical to prevent that?
On whose account?
Let's say America wants to come in and give Hamas $1 million right now
Okay,
in rockets.
sure.
Is it okay for Israel to be like, no, you can't do that?
Oh, okay, all right.
If one government wants to give another government a gift,
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Who is Israel to try and put a stop to it? Okay. all
so
right,
I'm saying
let's
even if
figure out how to-
Netanyahu does know that Iran's giving them money, can he actually stop it,
Okay. We're trying
like legally?
Well, I mean... Hold on, let me throw a couple more stitches while I... try
That's
and-
fine. You can think on it for a second, yeah.
Okay, who was the other political party that was running in opposition of Hamas?
The Quds Force?
The what?
Quds Force? I think.
Because one of them was obviously after
Maybe?
the
I could be wrong.
Yasser-
Joint Task Force, Courts, a U.S. Oh, no, never mind. It's a U.S. military thing.
It was the equivalent of, you know, a
Hamas.
seeker of peace, okay?
Palestinian political parties. List of political parties in Palestine. Islamic Resistance Movement, Palestinian National Liberation Movement, Popular Front for Liberation of Palestine, Third Way Arabic, Palestinian National Initiative Arabic, Democratic Front for the Liberation of Palestine Arabic, Palestinian People's Party of Arabic Independent. And then they have unrepresented parties, but those are the represented ones. Oh, hold on, wait. Are they defunct? Are they currently active? Founded 05, 69, 01. Defunct parties we don't care about. Okay, so those are the current political parties that exist within Palestine.
Trying to figure out who this political party was. Okay, the shit that I mentioned earlier with
Uh-huh.
Yasser Arafat is his was the closest to achieving the two-state solution that Palestine and Israel had come to. His influence, like the clout that he carried,
Uh-huh.
was also the same initiative or like interest of his political party. And I can't remember what that fucking political party is.
Yeah,
what
the
I'm
only
saying
thing
is Hamas came into power 2 years after his assassination.
You're not allowed here.
And so, like, them winning out over the otherwise, like you said, like, if there are two parties that want peace,
Sure.
and if
And one wants conflict.
and one wants conflict,
Yeah.
okay, if I can get rid of the peace-seeking party, then I know the conflict, like, I will get that, right?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
So I want, yeah, fuck, okay, I'm trying to figure out what that is. Either way, what I'm saying is that I think there were influences outside of the Palestinian control that kind of thumbed the scale in the favor of a conflict, okay?
Okay.
So, that is... How are the Palestinians going to be able to get rid of Hamas if, you know, other people are trying to perpetuate a conflict? The other people being...
Like Iran funding them?
Like, sure,
Well, I'm just trying to clarify.
Iran, yeah, what I'm saying is that the current, like, governing body of, like, Israel, the IDF, like, that is...
How are the Palestinian people going to...
If you want them
Put
to
a
have a
new
civil war
government.
to get rid of Hamas,
Sure.
the only government that's going to come out of that is going to be labeled as some kind of Palestinian liberation, which is the equivalent of a terrorist, right? Because if
Why?
because if, as Israel is moving in, right?
Israel's not moving in, though.
We just established that
They do
that's the
settlers.
settler,
They do settle. Okay, they do settlers, yes.
right? So if you take
Which is
my
why
land
every time-
and I'm trying to get my land back, but you're in Israel, like Israelite, me trying
If you
taking
keep-
back
okay.
land is somehow.
So this is one of the flawed arguments that I hear a lot of. Is like people think that they should go back to the 69 border treaty.
I
think
don't know what the 69 border treaty
But
is.
basically, throughout the years, they've constantly had, like, it might be 67, 1967, Palestine, Israel. Basically, Israel and Palestine have had, like, tons of negotiations over the years with treaties for, like, for
Absolutely.
dividing up land, trying to make it as
Kosher.
kosher. I'm trying to think of. It's like it's a C word. It's like not compatible, but it's like I don't know. It doesn't matter. But so it's like in the interest of both groups. Okay.
Collinear.
No, not collinear. Not a collinear efficient. It's like not comprehensive. Not like
Cohesive.
probably cohesive. Yeah, the most cohesive piece that they maybe doesn't matter. So but basically to make it good between the two groups. Okay.
Yeah.
So they want to make it good between the two groups.
That has been going on for decades, sure.
And every time they have these talks, it seems Israel has agreed to all of the terms. Like Bill Clinton had a big one. Bill Clinton was trying to end the conflict, and they had peace talks and they had negotiations. And every time Israel has agreed to it, and Palestine has never agreed to it anymore. People say that Israel wasn't agreeing to them in good faith, but at least Israel agreed to them. And like whether or not they were in good faith or not is kind of debatable. And Israel has never violated any of their previous treaties or agreements. So it gets kind of... They have held to the Egypt, Syria, Jordan ones, all of them.
Okay, well that's Egypt, Syria, and Jordan, but
Why is Palestine any different?
because Palestine is the territory that Israel is trying to settle, right?
But they're not. They wouldn't be trying to settle it if they had an agreement. And okay, and furthermore, if they had an agreement, like a true agreement of peace, and then Israel was violating it, that would be very bad of Israel to do that, right? Like we could all agree then that Israel is the one starting the conflict.
Right.
And then that would actually give us just incentive to say, You need to stop that.
Which was the established war reparations after the end of the Second World War, right?
That's how Britain decided to administer the land and who that it would go to after the fall of the Ottoman Empire. Yes.
So if Israel was just given green light from the global superpower at the time,
To have a specific territory, yeah.
right? They're not breaking a peace treaty, but Palestine sure as shit didn't.
I'm saying so Palestine also had promises made to them from Britain, and then Britain decided ultimately that it would go, and that's where the center of the big conflict comes from. But if there was a treaty between the two, and do you know what right of return is?
No.
Okay. Okay, so basically what right of return is that the Palestinian people want the infinite right of return for their people to come back to Israel. Palestine wants a one-state solution.
Okay, what is the...
The infinite right of return is that any person who says that they have Palestinian heritage can return to Israel and become a full citizen.
A Palestinian citizen or an Israeli citizen?
Well, it'd be one state.
So their one-state solution is the eradication of the other?
No. So the Palestinian people and the Israeli people would all be living within one state. But the Palestinian people will only agree to that if they have the right of return.
Oh, okay, so it would be Israel, but...
It could be, you could call it whatever you want.
But Palestinians are able to come back to...
It would be one state.
Okay.
So there wouldn't be the West Bank, there wouldn't be Gaza, it would be Israel, Palestine, you call it whatever, I don't give a fuck.
Okay.
It'd be Israel. Realistically, it'd be Israel.
Sure.
So they would agree to a one-state solution if Palestinian people had the infinite right of return.
All right.
The infinite right of return means that they could flood in with a ton of people and then change the political dynamics of Israel and then upset the political balance and change things to make Israelis second-class citizens. So Israel will never agree to that.
Well...
And it has always
How could
been
that
within all the negotiations and all the agreements, it has always been laid out that the infinite right of return is not something that is acceptable to happen.
Why not? We have Puerto Rico, and that's an unincorporated territory of the United States. That doesn't mean that they're able to vote in any of our national
Correct.
elections. Yeah. That's the same fucking thing. How many millions of, or how many?
That's not the same thing, but
I'm using that as an excuse, right?
Uh-huh. Let's say what's the population of Ireland?
You're saying
hold on. Ireland population is 5.4 million, okay? How many Americans claim they have Irish heritage? 31 million, okay? So
okay,
it would be
like
if
after the fucking Irish potato famines, they
sure.
were flooding over here.
Yeah, so absolutely. Right. Yes.
Okay.
So tons of Irish families left the area.
You're saying if they were given right of return.
So let's say all the Irish people, anyone who claims the Irish history, was given the right to return to Ireland.
Okay.
So 20 million people now fled the Ireland country.
Yeah.
And now are the biggest voting bloc.
Okay.
And can now change the politics in Ireland.
How is that different from the converted, Jews who are then put on here is your parcel of land because you are now...
Because they had a heritage claim to the land.
No. This is just a...
They didn't just move there. The Israeli people had a heritage-based claim to the land.
To what land? We just
Israel.
said... To Israel?
Yes. They were living there during the Ottoman Empire, too.
No, I'm pretty sure Israel is a relatively new...
Israel, the country is, yes, but the Israeli people had heritage there.
Oh, okay, so they were
similar to the Palestinian people. They were displaced people, yes.
Okay, so then...
So it was given to the Israeli people, and then the Israeli people said, hey, if you have Jewish heritage, you are counted as part of this heritage block and can return home.
Okay, but what is their stipulation or the parameters for Jewish heritage?
I think it's a blood test, but it doesn't... I don't specifically know, and I don't care enough to know. Because a country should be able to decide who can come to the country, right? They should be able to decide how their borders are.
Okay, that gets back into the they should be able to vote for whoever they want, even if they just murdered everybody.
I
right?
agree.
Okay. Sure. So, no one-state solution because no right of return.
Because,
right?
yeah, Palestinian will never agree to a one-state solution that does not include the right of return, so that anyone who claims to have that heritage can come flood into Israel and change the political dynamic.
And you can't have any kind of stipulation of, like, if I am
sorry.
entertaining the right of return, right, my inherent ability to come and visit, I hold no political, like, voting influence.
Okay.
Like, you can't have any kind of stipulation on that.
Okay.
I'm saying if right of return, like...
So that's one of the proposed agreements, and that is also why they will never agree to it.
Why?
One, that it creates an apartheid state, because you have a populace that has no political power, and definitionally that's an apartheid. Now, sorry,
Okay.
This is also something I just remembered. One of the reasons why this conflict is not an apartheid situation is because there are Palestinians who do hold political positions within the Israeli government. That's one of the other reasons why it's not a apartheid state. But that's kind of just a small one of the things I just wanted to hit on.
Is
I'm
that
gonna read your
like
comments
the
in 1 second
equivalent
more.
of an ambassador or some kind of
No,
annexed
they
embassy,
like elected positions
attaché?
within Israel. Like Palestinian citizens, because there are Palestinian citizens within Israel. They hold political positions within the Israel proper. That's one of the reasons why it's not an apartheid. But right of return would then create an apartheid state, right? Because you have a governing
people who don't hold any kind of voting rights.
And also Palestinians won't agree to it because they want to have the ability to change the political dynamic. That's the strategy.
Okay, sure. So rock in a hard place.
That's why the only solution is a two-state solution. And it sucks because that's what everyone said for years, but that's the only possible outcome. I'm sorry. It's not the only possible outcome. The other possible outcome is that eventually the Palestinians get genocided, which I don't like. Nobody should want that outcome.
Okay, well, that does seem to be like, if not like an obvious, it is a more meticulous and just a slow process because, again, they are put on a world stage.
Yes,
right?
the whole world is propping up Palestine, even though Palestine cannot win. Yes, that's correct.
It's not propping up. It is, they are feeling empathetic to people who are obviously suffering, right?
I guess.
It's not necessarily like, how am I...
So listen, I say I guess because 100% the rest of the world is gassing up Palestine. Large portions of the world do not fully understand the conflict, and they don't know things about the conflict, and they are saying that Palestinians should be fighting back against their oppressors. You have to fight back against your oppressors. You have to do everything you can.
They can't.
Correct. So the rest of the world is gassing them up when they cannot win.
Okay, what does this have to...
So the rest of the world... Okay. Let's say you're getting in a fight with like Mike Tyson, and everyone in the world is saying, you can do this. You've got this fight. You're gonna win. You're not gonna fucking win. Like, maybe current day Mike Tyson because he's old as whatever. But take whoever the world...
Man, don't disparage against Mike.
Khabib. Okay. Everyone wants you to go and fight Khabib.
Oh, I think I know he's the... Okay, continue.
Yeah. Everyone wants you to go fight Khabib, and everyone in the world is saying, actually, you're a really good fighter. You can do this. You have to take the fight. And you're gonna win. Like we're all gonna be there supporting you. We're all gonna be cheering you on. You're gonna win.
Okay.
But you can't. You actually physically in your current state cannot win.
Love the analogy. This is really, really great.
Okay,
I think it's a gross...
we can switch it for you. For
No,
me,
no.
everyone wants me to fight Khabib, and everyone's telling me I can win.
Okay.
I can't win that fight.
So you're saying
Khabib would kick my ass.
Okay. But how does that have any kind of shit? Like, fuck. How am I gonna try and?
So basically, the Palestinian people are not incentivized to pursue peace because everyone's telling them
Incentivization has nothing to do with it. They have no means to it, right?
they do if they got rid of Hamas, but everyone's gassing up Hamas.
What do you mean, guess?
Like saying like Hamas, you have to fight your oppressors. You have to. Everyone's saying that they
just said Palestine.
right.
The
The Palestinian people too, but yes.
Okay, so if
That is the elected. That's currently elected government.
the elected government
Uh-huh.
that was elected 20 years ago, and the average age of Palestinians being 20, even though that's done arbitrarily.
Hamas is the currently elected government and holds majority support of the people of Palestine. So it's not like a Trump situation where Trump's approval rating is like 14%. They have over 50% approval.
Okay, I'm not necessarily arguing that. But if that is the governing body and they have the only means of disseminating kind of information, then you are going to thumb the scale or at least skew what information you are giving to your population. That populace, right, the impoverished people or like the rest of the Palestinians, right? Who else are they going to believe? Are they?
So in the Gaza Strip, currently there's 51% approval of Hamas, and in the West Bank there's 60%. Okay, there's overall 60% approval of Hamas.
Okay.
66% in West Bank, 51% in Gaza Strip. So generally, the Palestinians generally approve of Hamas being their leadership.
All right. So then, let's put it this way: if any kind of cult member, right?
Sure.
Like, because you support this guy, right? That makes
Uh-huh.
you the asshole. When really you're just misinformed, right?
Sure.
You have been led to believe, like,
And who's leading the rest of the world is, right?
what do you mean the rest?
Because
of
the rest of the world keeps saying, like, hey, Hamas is going to, like, you guys can do this. You have to fight your oppressors. You guys have
They
the
are
morally
cut off-
ethical...
They're cut off from the rest of the world. Like,
No, because they still have internet access.
what are you talking? Not the general like population.
I mean,
of
cell phones are
Palestine.
pretty widely distributed around the world.
You think that they have like access?
How much internet access is in Palestine? As of early 2025, approximately 86.6% of the population of Palestine has internet access.
Okay, internet access on a global scale.
86.6% of their population. Like specifically the Palestinian population.
That doesn't make any sense.
Right, because the conflict's like, yes.
No, not.
Ask ChatGPT. There's funny things that you can ask ChatGPT, and they were like really fight tooth and nail to not comment on the Israel-Palestine conflict at all.
What, ChatGPT?
Yeah.
I can't stand it. I used to type papers for weed, and I feel like that is just... Who's that guy who would, like, build or lay railroad tracks?
John Henry.
Yeah. Oh, man. Bullshit. Okay. I guess my argument is they are never going to overthrow a political party that is probably at least presenting itself as their only savior, right? That is
Maybe
the same paradox as the one-state solution with the right of return.
So I can agree, sure, but also they approve of it. So they currently support that group. Now, you're getting into, like, I would say that gets into kind of some weird moral ethical arguments of, like, should you be preserving a culture because it's a culture or not? If the culture is like, we are fully on board in this death cult and we're going to march to death, like, should you do everything you can to stop them?
It depends. Are they lemmings? Are they just marching to their own death?
Yeah. Well, if they can't win the conflict, then yeah, they are, right?
Okay.
If there's no possible way they can win.
That also, I still think that the argument that if there are two parties and you're trying to get peace,
I agree, yeah.
you can still kill one party, and that is peace, right? It is your definition of peace, right?
It's not my definition of creating peace.
Not yours as in, like, you as an individual.
It's not a peace treaty.
It is.
I'm trying to say if two groups want to end the conflict civilly and create peace,
Yeah.
they both have to want it. I'm happy to keep putting that word civil in there.
See, I think that is the inherent problem then. The people who want it are not the people who decide, like...
Who want peace? Well, but 51, they have overall 60% support. So more Palestinians support it than don't support it, despite their age demographic or anything like that, which isn't even too far off of the age demographic in the area. I know it's a situation that sucks all around, because the only option is, like, the best thing that can happen is the Palestinian people say, Hamas no more. Hamas get out. They hold trials, they convict all the Hamas people, and they publicly execute them or something. I don't care what the fuck they do. They remove Hamas from power, okay? And they elect a new group that wants peace. However, if the rest of the world is saying, Palestine, you have to fight your oppressors, and Hamas is presenting themselves as the means for them to do that, and the rest of the world's gassing them up, and the Arabic people aren't allowing them to become refugees and leave that area. They're not allowing them to come to, like, Jordan or Syria or Egypt, because they don't want the same thing that Israel doesn't want, and they don't want the political dynamics to change at their place, and they want to use them as a political pawn against Israel.
Sure.
So until the rest of the world stops gassing them up, then...
Okay, so then let's say Hamas is overthrown, right?
Uh-huh.
Palestine is liberated.
Sure.
They are their own people now.
Sure.
Now I want to go take back the settled territories.
Well, I don't think that ethically or morally they have a right to.
How
in
the
that
fuck
instance,
not?
because they didn't take any of the peace treaties that were offered to them previously.
They didn't. They were being oppressed by Hamas.
So this is actually the argument that Russia uses for Ukraine, and that, like, they want to secure their borders by moving into Ukraine to ensure that they have more security in their territory. And, like, NATO isn't, like, encroaching on their borders or whatever. So that's that. But if they took the agreement,
Russia's been taking territories since, like, the 90s with Crimea.
I don't think it's a good line of argument for them to use that, but that's the line of argument they use. Okay, so they were offered agreements of land and land swaps. So basically, Israel goes into places, they start settling it, and then Palestinians are like, hey, that's kind of fucked up. So to make peace, they're like, we'll do a land swap, okay? So we've settled in this area, we will give you comparable land back so that you still have the same amount of territory.
You think Israel is doing that?
This was part of the agreements, yes.
Okay.
This has been in the agreements with the Bill Clinton administration. So these are already, like, been negotiated, and then every time Palestine doesn't agree to it. So then when you don't agree to those land territories, and then you attack them, and then they counterattack you, and then they take more of your territory back, why should Israel now have to give that up? When you said, I'm not going to agree to these lands because I think I can do better through conflict.
Okay, then is there a map of, like, the topography as
we
far
can
as, like,
look up
what territory swaps have been done?
Yeah, we can... Israel, Palestine,
and if you think
territory,
if you think
overtime.
The argument of, like, oh, I want to take back all these otherwise...
So this is, like, the meme one that gets sent around.
Newly liberated...
Open image, a new tab. Oh, man, it's a teeny tiny image.
That's not the territory.
Oh, yeah, this one's talking about how this map is really bad. This is... Well, here, we'll use Al Jazeera. If there's going to be any group that's, like, totally pro-Palestine, it's going to be Al Jazeera.
Well, we don't want a pro-group. We want to...
I'm totally fine with using a pro-Palestinian group for it, because I don't think it matters, from my argument.
It does matter. Look at it. You scroll back up.
Well, hold on. Because looking at this, I don't know what this tells me. So that's why I'm scrolling down to find out what it tells me. Okay, so this is the 1917 pre-British mandate Palestine. So this is all Palestinian territory. These are the Jewish territories. Okay. Jewish immigration to Palestine. Palestinian revolt, 1936 to 1939. Jewish immigration to Palestine rose dramatically after World War II because they were like living together. And I do want to be clear, there's a lot of, this is one of the big arguments, and this is one of the big problems with this situation. The Jewish people would buy land from Palestinian people, okay? And the way Palestine worked is that even though you came in and bought land, you weren't like, it's kind of like arguably what happened with the Native Americans in a way. So basically, the Jewish people came in and they offered them a good, like they offered them like money to buy the land, and they sold the land, but they didn't think that that meant that they were going to be kicked out of the land. So the Palestinians thought that they would still live there and the Jewish people would own it. So then the Jewish people were like, well, you got to go because we own this land now. This is our territory. This is where this is our home, so you got to go. So the Palestinian people made a bunch of deals that they later regretted. And now part of the regret that they have is that they were buying crappy land that then through hard work and efforts the Jewish people like made into irrigated land and like good land that people would want and everything. And then now they have like, but that's kind of like that's a different sort of like disagreement on it. So then we have the UN partition plan. So this is the 1947 UN partition plan, with this being Palestinian territory in the blue, or no, I'm sorry, blue is Jewish territory, green is Arab territory, yellow is Jerusalem under international control. So some other body would own it or something, or it's Jerusalem because both of them want Jerusalem.
Well, I think all three.
That's what I'm saying. The Arab state and the Jewish state want Jerusalem.
Right, but
Christians don't care though, if that's what you mean.
Christians absolutely do care.
I don't think Christians care who owns Jerusalem.
Okay, yeah, I mean that is like one of the big like.
It's a historical site, sure, but I don't think Christians care.
There were Christian settlements.
If there were
in the area,
if there were Christians here, I think they might be arguing over it. But I don't think Christianity as a political group like care enough about like being like, oh yeah, we have to take this. Christian, it's not like founded on like a specific site. Where I think like the Jewish people and the Arab people have like specific religious reasons why they want Jerusalem, like part of their religion.
I think all three Abrahamic religions have value in that site. But
historical value,
only
yes.
Two that are like currently vying.
I don't think because Christians don't care about it. Christians don't typically care about historical sites. They care about following like neither here nor there. And I'm also using westernized Christianity now, where we've been allowed to like grow in a state where it's like we're away from conflict. So like we are allowed to be very peaceful and not very like American Christians aren't like a super warrior tribe against like other religions because they're not on top of us, is what I mean.
Well, okay. So I feel like the separation of church and state, but then also like.
But that's what I'm saying is like, but we're not like starting wars over religion.
Okay. All right.
Is what I mean.
All right.
So like,
so religious zealotry, sure, that is.
I don't actually think the conflict is over religious zealotry. I think it's just an excuse.
Yeah.
I don't think either group cares about it.
Okay, and we do need to touch back on the whole like Native American like land trade thing.
We can later, sure, but that's fine. Okay, so then Palestinians expelled in 1948. Nabka. Palestinians were ethnically cleansed from their homes by Zionist militias. The mass exodus. I'd want to like look up specifics on this.
That's why I said don't use a fucking
so here's,
biased.
But no, I'm just saying like
source.
This is how people moved, and then 1967, Israel occupies Gaza and the West Bank. The Oslo Accords. Palestinian, Israeli Area C, which is Settlement C. This is the one that's constantly in contention. Legal Israeli settlements. Yep, that's fine. Well, I mean, it's not fine, but it's Israel checkpoints in occupied West Bank. Gaza 16 years of living under blockade. Gaza.
Okay, so if you're going to read them but totally disregard...
I wanted to know what the infographic was saying.
Okay.
I'm not trying to like read every minutia here because I generally have an idea of the whole... I have an idea of the... I know the conflict, basically. I've listened to so many debates and arguments on it. I know the conflict. Okay. So this is what they're currently saying is the current borders. In the West Bank. That's just West Bank. So this is the Oslo Accords. Israel, Palestine, Oslo Accord territories. This is highlighting the West Bank. But basically, so they had peace treaties. Okay, they had agreements on the table. Palestinian people said, no, we think we can do better.
Okay.
Started attacks on Israel. Lost land in counteroffensives. Then we get to the Oslo Accords during the Bill Clinton administration, where we're like, hey,
The closest we came to a two-state solution. Sure.
yeah, probably. I don't know, maybe.
You just said you knew the conflict.
I don't know if, okay, I don't know if I would say that is the closest we've come to a two-state solution.
Okay.
So when I say I don't know, maybe it's to the specific thing that you just said.
All right. That's fair.
So then you have the Oslo Accords, which Israel agreed to, and then Palestine said, no, thank you. We'll keep doing conflict. They proceed to continue to do conflict, and they proceed to continue to lose land. And now, because right now, they want to go back to the Oslo Accords. That's the current, that's the current thing that they're trying to vie for, is to go back to the Oslo Accords.
And this is Hamas. Correct?
Yes. And they agreed to, and then conflict broke out again. That's what the last, Netanyahu, I don't know how to spell his name. There we go. Netanyahu agrees to return to Oslo Accords.
See, I think Netanyahu is just as convinced of their right or their claim to.
What?
Oh, sorry. What I think is that obviously Netanyahu is never going to present a solution that is going to be mutually either beneficial or even agreeable by both parties. Like that is
I generally agree, but the problem is that the Palestinian people have never failed to give him an opportunity to do that. You know what I mean?
okay. See, now then you use Palestinian people, and when in reality, like
The Palestinian people support Hamas.
Well, and I can't use the.
So I'm saying specifically,
Yeah. Yeah.
Israel,
Yeah.
which is governed through Netanyahu's government,
Yeah.
cannot make peace with Palestine, which is currently governed by Hamas, until Hamas no longer has support of the Palestinian people.
Right, and let's say that happens. Let's
So
say,
the Palestinian people continue to support the guy, that is the group,
Mhm.
and the Palestinian people have never failed to give Netanyahu an opportunity to prove that he would break a treaty with them.
But they've already had negotiations and
Right,
ceasefires established
right.
that Israel is the one who broke.
No.
Yes, that. Yeah, look that up.
Most recent Israel-Palestine ceasefire. Okay, this is Council on Foreign Relations. Trump's administration 20-point plan to broker peace in the region. The vote was 13-0, with China and Russia abstaining. So 13 of the countries that were involved on the council voted yes. China and Russia did not vote no.
Wait, what is this vote on?
This is a 20-point plan for peace in the region between Israel and Gaza and the Palestinians.
Okay, why do they have any kind of a stake in anything from the Trump administration? I mean, he's a fucking idiot. Oh, okay.
Because Trump, okay,
Hold
because
on, let me look up.
because Trump wants to get a Nobel Peace Prize because Obama got one, and he's very narcissistic.
Obama got a Peace
Yes,
Prize?
Obama got a Nobel Peace Prize.
For Obamacare?
I don't know specifically for what. I'd have to look it up, but
Okay.
it's not the point. Trump wants a peace prize. The best way he thinks he can get a peace prize is by bringing an end to the conflict that has gone on for like 60 plus years now. And rightfully so, if his administration did actually end this conflict, he might actually be deserving of a Nobel Peace Prize, right?
What?
If he actually brought a lasting peace to the area,
Okay.
it might actually be due to him to get a Nobel Peace Prize, reasonably
Donald
so.
Trump.
Yeah, if he actually brought peace to the area, right?
I'm trying to find one that isn't biased. It depends on how you go about getting peace. 'Cause,
Right.
Again.
Because, which is why I say a civil end to the conflict.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Okay, the resolution gives the United States a legal mandate to employ parts of the peace plan. This includes the creation of an International Stabilization Force, ISF, a multinational military body that will monitor security in the enclave. The resolution also aims to assemble a committee that will oversee the security and political transition in Gaza until the end of 2027, when the Palestinian Authority, the PA, will take over governance. U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations Mike Waltz called the resolution a lifeline for Gaza and thanked the Security Council for charting a new course for Israelis, Palestinians, and all the people in the region alike. Don't care what Trump said. Okay, translate the diplomatic momentum into concrete and urgently needed blah, blah, blah on the ground. Israel has also accused Hamas of violating the... Okay, back up a little bit. In the weeks since, however, the region has struggled to maintain the agreement as both sides have accused the other of violating the ceasefire. Israel has carried out more than 100 instances of shellings and shootings in the Gaza Strip, according to the Hamas-run government media office, and the United Nations has reported that the country has rejected more than 100 aid requests that are largely from NGOs, non-government organizations, working in the enclave.
Okay, so by this account, you're saying Hamas is denying aid.
No. I'll read that again. Yeah. So, in the weeks since, the region has struggled to maintain the agreement as both sides have accused the other of violating the ceasefire. Israel has carried out more than 100 instances of artillery shelling and shootings in the Gaza Strip.
Okay.
According to the Hamas-run government...
So this is a separate sentence, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's a comma, I guess. According to the Hamas-run government media office, and the United Nations has reported that the country has rejected more than 100 aid requests that are largely from non-government organizations working in the enclave.
Okay, so then who has claimed that there's been 100 infractions or whatever, and which country is denying? Because if it's...
That is Israel denying it, I believe.
So
non-government
Israel...
organizations want to bring in aid to the Gaza Strip,
right.
and Israel saying no.
Okay.
Israel has also accused Hamas of violating the ceasefire. This is what Hamas is accusing them of. Okay?
Okay.
Israel has also accused Hamas of violating the ceasefire multiple times. The Israeli Defense Force accused the group of attacking and killing its soldiers in Rafah in 2 separate instances and of crossing the withdrawal line it has held since the start of the ceasefire. Hamas has also been accused of failing to deliver the remains of hostages, both in terms of delays and falsification of hostage remains.
Okay, so...
Both sides have said they remain committed to peace despite the alleged violations, though both hold positions that are not in line. With the blueprint being supported by the international community, Israel is staunchly against Hamas having a future role in Gaza, while Hamas refuses to lay down arms and relinquish control.
Okay, so then I have a question. If Hamas is it's not conventionally identifiable as far as any kind of insignia, so they are just hiding amongst
They
people.
fight amongst the people. Yeah.
You can just say, as like an Israeli, say like, that guy is going kind of like the Venezuelan boats, right? I don't need to actually like prove that they're doing anything nefarious. I just have to say that that is, a Hamas member, or that is
Okay.
a boat smuggling drugs. So if and also this.
So you're saying that the attacks that are coming okay, I want to be clear on what you're saying here.
Sure.
The Israeli soldiers that were attacked apparently and killed in Rafah, you're saying that may have just been a regular Palestinian, not affiliated with Hamas.
No. That's what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. Sorry. What I'm saying is, if you can use some kind of incendiary like claim, right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't blow up X amount of civilians. I blew up, Hamas insurgents, right?
Sure.
Like, that can also skew it. But also, if you've got the Iron Dome and I am having to hobble together fucking rudimentary well rockets, like, is that really any kind of a comparison as far as, like, retaliatory, like, strikes?
If Israel pulls out of Gaza proper, okay, and they pull all their people back to Israel, will Palestine still be attacking? Will Hamas still be attacking Israel?
Well, I do think that they've got some pious, and if they have the religious zeal that is provoking any kind of like extermination of an entire people, which does seem like a lot of fucking religious fervor in across
Sure,
the world,
I don't
right?
actually think it's religious based, but yeah, sure. I think it's territory and power based at this point. I don't really think religion plays too much of a role in.
They can kind of work in tandem.
I mean, they can. I think it's justification. I don't think it's.
Okay.
I don't think it's actually politically or religiously.
So I do think that they are going to have malicious intent, and if that stops at Israel's withdrawal,
so you don't.
That's best case scenario. But most likely they are going to.
So if Israel pulled out every Israeli citizen from the territories, and the question is, do you think, yes or no, would Hamas stop? Would Hamas keep attacking Israel?
It's a good question. Or I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't think they would. And I would go further to say that because they have attacked and lost, and Israel's claimed territory, Israel morally and ethically should hold that territory until they have some kind of peace agreement, because it increases your leverage in the peace agreement to reach a peace agreement.
Okay. So then let's go back to the whole trading land, like from the Native Americans. So if the entirety of like the Virginia, or isn't that whatever the Expanse, Lewis and Clark, was purchased for, what, some $17? If the understanding presented to me of this like exchange of goods, like,
let's say there are two neighbors in a house. Okay, they have two houses next door to each other.
yeah, sure.
All right, and they're in conflict, and one of the neighbors keeps shooting from their house at the other neighbor. So then that neighbor's like, stop it, comes over to the neighbor that keeps shooting at them and takes over their kitchen.
Okay.
Now you could say, hey, you should give them back their kitchen so that we can end this conflict, but that person shouldn't give back the kitchen until that person agrees to stop. And then that person keeps shooting at them, so you take over the living room. Stop shooting at my house. They keep shooting at your house, so you take over a bedroom. Like, you know what I mean? They shouldn't give up that land that they've taken until that group is ready and willing to agree to peace.
Okay, well, by that argument, this house was built on, if they are the native inhabitants of a land and somebody comes over and kind of proceeds in committing a genocide, right? Which culminated into the Trail of Tears and the like.
Who owned the land?
Well, they don't have the traditional like concept of ownership.
No, I mean who owned the land prior to Palestine and Israel?
Oh, sorry. I was talking about the like equivalent of Native Americans.
No, I know.
But before Palestine and Israel, like,
Yeah.
I think, like we just established, that Israel is like an established.
It was the Ottoman Empire, right? It was all under the Ottoman Empire.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
And then when the Ottoman Empire fell apart,
Okay.
and I don't know the conflict well enough to know why the Ottoman Empire fell apart. Was it part of World War II? Why did
I thought
the
it
Ottoman?
predated that.
But why it fell apart? Empire fall apart. It might have been long-term decline exacerbated by World War One. Okay, so they were part of the World War One conflict, and then the Ottoman Empire fell apart after World War One, and then the winning groups, the people who won World War One, are the people who got to decide how the world was divvied up. Right?
Okay.
Is that fair?
No, it is not fair. But
Why is that
the
not
Treaty of
fair?
Versailles is what happens.
Why is that not fair?
Why is that not fair?
Yeah.
Okay, wait. You earlier argued that a global power shouldn't like influence any kind of a government one way or the other, right?
No, I'm
That's
saying
where I
that just
went.
because one person holds the minority of power doesn't mean that you won't have equality.
All right, well then let's.
Which is why that statement feels true but isn't true.
Okay, so then let's talk about sure. All right, going back to the divvy up war reparations, they
So-
had how many billions of dollars expected from Germany to pay back for damages?
I don't care about that.
Globally. What are you talking about?
I'm saying
It's being
how
decided.
should how okay, so you have all these territories that were lost because you started a war and you lost it.
Right. Okay, then let's take Rwanda as an example. The Dutch got to decide how Rwanda between the Houthis and the oh fuck. The Houthis and goddamn it, what is the other group? But that is a direct like. That is
Okay.
what perpetuated the Rwandan genocide.
So
When
you just lost the
when-
war. And another the people you lost the war to have taken over, right?
Sure.
And they're not claiming your land for themselves, right? Because they're giving it away.
Yeah.
So the British Empire isn't controlling Israel, right?
Sure. Keep going. Sorry, I'm trying
Okay.
to remember this.
I just want to be clear here. The Ottoman Empire lost World War One, fell apart.
Yeah.
Britain is deciding how Israel is being distributed. It was given to Britain to decide how Israel was distributed.
Okay.
Okay, so
Tutsi, is that it?
yeah, Tutsis sound right. Yeah, the Tutsi genocide. Yeah.
Mhm.
What?
That I couldn't remember the
Oh, okay.
the group, but yeah,
Okay.
it was the Dutch divvying up parts of Africa that perpetuated
Okay.
that. Like,
So Ottoman Empire loses their place,
Mhm.
and then the British Empire are now the controllers of the territory, deciding how it is to be distributed. Right?
yeah, why?
That's fair, right?
no. Why is that fair?
Well, who should decide?
Okay, so you're saying that the Ottoman Empire immediately, like after World War One, was just
Collapsed. Yep. The Ottoman Empire collapsed.
yeah, that doesn't.
So then who should decide how the lands get distributed?
I guess the immediate parties who are like residing there.
Sure. Do you think the people should just decide themselves?
Yeah, why not?
Well, because they just funded a conflict that,
They didn't necessarily fund it. The Ottoman.
but their government did.
So okay, so then you're equating like the government's like
It's not a traditional government; it's a monarchy. I believe the Ottoman Empire was a monarchy, but
so then how is that? It seems like one oppressor was
The winning party is the people who should decide how the land is. That's the moral, ethical thing.
how's that moral?
Well, okay, it may not be moral if you're like attacking someone, but I don't believe that they were the people who started the attack, and even whether or not it is, I don't want to get into like. I'm just saying who should decide how the Ottoman Empire gets divvied up, and it's the people who beat the other ones, right?
Okay, I just want to point out that I think that like the British just
Fuck the
global
situation.
view-
Yes.
global view, right? Like they have.
Yes, they fucked the situation a lot because they made promises both to the Palestinian people and the Israeli people, and then they only held true to the promises to the Israeli people,
Okay.
which is why the conflict persists, probably. Yes, they fucked the situation a lot. Yes. But what I'm saying is, you have
the winners get to decide.
the winners
spoils.
get to
That's-
decide on how everything's divvied up.
I don't know. I think that's a gross over like simplification of like.
Should they just own it then?
No, again, I think you just liberated and oppressed people. Like you said, the Ottoman Empire was an authoritarian monarchy, right?
Uh-huh.
So, like, give it to the fucking people. Like, let them see, or, like, at least see what kind of self-governance that they are capable of. As opposed to, like, all right,
Okay.
I fucking killed
Okay,
that monarch,
so,
like,
okay.
I get to decide.
Okay. So you agree, though, that after a conflict, the people who won would decide how the land's divvied up, and you feel that they should decide that it should be divvied, that the people who live there should be able to decide their government, right? That you should give it to the people who live there.
Well, let me ask you this. What part of that area was invaded during...
What does it matter? It was all the Ottoman Empire. The Ottoman Empire's collapsed. So now you have all these loose territories, these loose groups of people, these loose affiliations, and they don't know what to do or what to go and like how to peacefully divvy up land. So I would actually say that by not stepping in, you're actually going to create more conflict and death
What?
through the confusion of it all. Because now you have instead of having like two major groups, let's say that the Ottoman Empire was split into two halves. This group gets this half, this group gets this half. And then you guys, that's how it is. Form a government, figure your shit out now while we oversee it. And then we're going to pull back and let you do your thing. If you don't, let's say it divvies up into 100 different smaller groups that all are at constant conflict.
Well, that's...
Because you're not stepping in to say like how it should be divvied up.
Okay, but also if these 100 smaller groups were otherwise part of a larger group, don't you
How
think
many
that they would
families
just
fight
be-
over like inheritance?
Plenty.
Yeah. So what's the best thing to do is to step in as a moral arbitrator and say like, okay, we're going to figure out the situation here. We're going to figure out who we think this should go to. And we're going to maybe do our best. Maybe we fuck it up. Yeah, and they probably fucked it up, but
Ooh, okay. Well, I think a place that was otherwise maybe not totally untouched by like the ravages of war, like
sure.
I don't.
But they don't
think
have a
that they
government
should
now.
Necessarily.
Okay, so let's take that situation.
Mhm.
Let's say that Israel and Palestine were not touched by the war. They had no part in it, whatever. They maybe paid their taxes, but they were reluctant participants in that aspect, okay?
Okay. Israel didn't exist before the war, though. Palestine did.
Well, Israelis lived there. And you just said that you think that people should be able to decide their own government. And the Israelis live there. So then, there would be an Israeli territory because they live there if they were deciding their own government. This is the thing I'm trying to avoid, is saying like there's now 100 unaffiliated groups. So the Israelis, the Palestinians, Syria, Jordan, you have all these unaffiliated groups that are now at conflict with each other because they are trying to constantly figure out borders and how to govern. And if they're going to be a governance together or against each other or... So you need somebody to come in and be a moral arbitrator of some sort to say like, okay, this land is this land is this, right or wrong?
This land is your land. Okay, all right. So then, if now this global arbiter of
Okay, so Britain's deciding the
geopolitical
land. Yeah.
land bullshit And then they just wash their hands of any kind of responsibility or.
So they tried to figure out the situation.
Oh,
You okay?
I have no idea.
Like dirt or something?
Something. Continue.
Okay, so they come in. They're trying to figure out the land, trying to figure out how they want to divvy everything up.
Yeah.
And then they make bad promises to the Palestinians, and they make promises to the Israelis, and then they kind of only carry out the promises they made to the Israelis. Which you could argue whether that's ethical, unethical. Like, Israel is kind of more aligned with the Western governments, so realistically, it's within Britain's best interest to do that because blah blah blah. You can get into ethical disagreements there, whatever. What's happened is happened. So they've decided the land, and then now, so it doesn't matter who lived there before.
Oh.
Is my point here.
Okay. So
Because-
then that's the same argument for why the settled territories of Palestine now occupied by Israel, like they should never get those back. They should.
I didn't say they shouldn't get them back. I said they should hold them until they are. They should hold them as leverage for peace talks and treaty negotiations. Because otherwise, let's say two people have houses next to each other. One person attacks the other person's house and goes over there and takes part of their house. And then somebody else comes in and is like, hey, stop this conflict. We settled the conflict. Okay, now give him back the house. It's like, well, hold on, I did it kind of backwards. Like, let's say you have two houses and then one person attacks you and you counterattack them and you take their living room. Like, and somebody comes over and is like, hey, give them back their house. And it's like, well, how are you going to punish them for attacking me? Now, I'm not saying they shouldn't get the land back. They maybe should. Maybe, I don't know. Like, I'd have to really do a deep dive analysis on that. And I don't have that, like, in my wheelhouse currently.
Okay.
But if somebody does something wrong, or even if they, maybe, I don't know, maybe you want to argue that they didn't do anything wrong. But either way, they lost land to the conflict. To bring an end to the conflict, they should continue to hold that land. They shouldn't give it back. This is the same thing that's happened with the Ukraine-Russia thing, is that Ukraine doesn't want to give Russian land back that they've taken because Russia keeps violating ceasefire. They're like, why should we give this land back? That's what happened in the... I can't think of it. I'm not going to think of the name. It's not going to come to me. I'm not even close to it. It was in 2015, 2016.
Not Crimea, right?
No, it wasn't Crimea.
Because Russia.
Maybe it was Crimea.
Because Russia has invaded several other territories that have since claimed independence.
So
Ukraine is not the first, and it likely won't be the last because Russia.
Maybe. I mean, that's all possible. I'm not trying to branch off into a parallel discussion of Russia, Ukraine, but
we have branched off so many parallel discussions, but fine.
But
I think those predated World War II, maybe even World War One.
What?
Ukraine's
possibly. Yeah, possibly. Well, I know they were a sovereign state, part of the USSR, and then once that fell apart, they were guaranteed. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Doesn't matter right now.
Continue.
Israel should not give the land back. They should use that as leverage to push for peace talks.
So you're saying that peace should only be established when one party has some kind of leverage over the other?
I think if one party refuses to stop, then you should use whatever leverage you can to get them to stop.
That sounds super peaceful.
If one party refuses to stop, yeah.
Well, I think both parties have an inherent
Do you think it's
interest
inherently?
in
Do you
not
think?
stopping?
I don't want to branch into it like a separate thing.
About what?
The Civil War and burning down Georgia to bring it into the Civil War faster.
Georgia burnt down?
Yeah.
This is the first I'm hearing about it.
Yeah, so like I can't think of the guy's name.
It's so like humid down there.
I can't think of the guy's name. Northern
I don't know
General
shit about
Civil War. Is it Grant? No. Sherman. It was Sherman. Okay, I wanted to say Sherman. Sherman like basically led a like complete scorched earth policy against Georgia as the military general of the North. So when he attacked the South, he like burned a path from the north straight to the sea in Georgia, basically. And people argue that it was unethical of him to do that because he went like full scorched earth. But the other argument is that it actually ended the conflict sooner. So like he took a lot of lives and like killed a lot of people there, but also the argument is that he actually saved more people by doing it by it's a convoluted.
So you're
that's oh go ahead.
So no, well I'm saying that what about the scientist who
It's utilitarian ethics,
well he created some fucking
which could be highly moral.
fertilizer, right?
Maybe.
Used as mustard gas, right?
I don't know.
In food, like killed millions, but is a like product that is used to save the lives of.
Yeah, a utilitarian would say that's ethical. Yes.
What is a utilitarian?
Somebody who like it's a form of ethics. It's so they generally believe like if a healthy person walked into a hospital, you should kill that healthy person so that you could save like 100 people.
What?
That would be utilitarian ethics. Because you're saving one life for like 100 people. Like if you have 100 people who are dying and the one person has healthy organs that could be given to all the other people, you should absolutely kill that person to give them all the organs.
Gotcha.
Or their blood or anything. Like, because you're saving more people because the 100 people's lives are worth more than the one. That's utilitarian.
Well, if you're equating all people to...
I'm not. But I'm saying utilitarian ethics would dictate that like they shouldn't give the land back until they can guarantee if it ends the conflict sooner, which arguably a utilitarian could be like you should bomb an apartment building to end the conflict sooner if it would guarantee end the conflict sooner. But
damn, I did not know that was utilitarianism. I thought
it can be.
It's like utilizing shit. It's like, oh, anything that can be put to...
It's just whatever reaches the best outcome soonest, or like not necessarily soonest, but like so if the goal is to utilitarian would be like if you want to save as many lives as you can and killing 100 people would save more lives in the long run, then you should kill 100 people to save more lives, because if that's what your goal is, which is why killing a healthy person to steal all their organs to give to a bunch of unhealthy people and save them would be if your simple goal is like numbers, not like value of life or other things or quality of life.
Damn, that is a pretty fucked up view.
It can be, yeah. It's just a form of ethics thought. But until like, okay, so do you agree that maybe Israel shouldn't give back the lands that they've taken until they have peace?
Well, no, okay. So what you just asked is,
let's say
Israel should give back the lands that they have taken. So
until they have peace.
They have obviously already taken it
sure,
rightfully.
I'll even say unrightfully. Most of it could have been from them being attacked and then counterattacking. They take land, but we can even say that they just went in there and took land.
Okay.
I'll happily concede all of that and just say Israel attacked first and took all the land.
Okay, so then, yeah, they should give it back.
Why?
Because they are the aggressor, and if you are trying to establish some semblance of peace, a gesture of goodwill, right? Hoarding something of value, in this case land, that is not a gesture of goodwill. Saying, hey, like,
so let's say they
not necessarily acknowledging fault, but at least acknowledging like wrongdoing. Not saying that I'm bad, but like you're in pain. So like,
no, I understand.
This is a gesture of my goodwill.
Yeah.
Here's your territory back.
Okay. Does that end the conflict?
That starts some, at least,
You're saying maybe.
movement
is what you're getting
towards. Right.
Maybe.
If you're saying both parties need to be like, with the ideals of peace, like you need to like come together. Hoarding anything that like
If one side doesn't want peace, you should use whatever you can to leverage them to it. Yeah.
seriously, I said kill the other side, and you're like, that's not peace.
No, I'm saying if both sides don't want it, if both side, if one side wants to a peace treaty, an agreement, and the other side doesn't,
Yeah,
and they're at conflict,
right.
the side that wants peace should use everything they can to leverage the other one to peace.
That sounds so peaceful.
It's not.
Okay, so
But definitionally, one group doesn't want peace, so it's not gonna be peaceful.
man. I still don't see why they should like hold on to the, appropriated
Until
land.
okay. So assuming that Israel unprovoked started those, they probably didn't. But we'll just
Sure,
assume that
okay.
they unprovoked did it.
Okay.
Then utilitarianism's kind of fucked up, but you would say that they should hold on to it until they get a guarantee of peace from the.
So in this scenario, their idea of peace is
You keep punching someone until they agree to stop. Yeah.
that sounds like yeah.
Like, do you want to stop now? And then if they keep trying to fight, you just keep beating them up, and then you're like, do you want to stop now? Like, will you stop? Can you stop? And then they don't stop, so you keep beating them up, and then you're like, okay, can we stop now? I want to stop. I don't want to keep hitting you. Like, you need to stop.
God,
Would be the analysis of that.
I can't think
Would be
of
the
this movie,
analogy.
but
It's probably Kung Pao Under the Fists.
it's either that or like Hot Rod of just like, all right, knock. Either way, it's comedy.
It's Kung Pao Enter the Fist because they paralyze his. No, it's Kung Fu Hustle because they paralyze his arm,
Yeah,
and then
okay.
he's like,
yeah.
or maybe maybe that is Kung Pao Enter the Fist, and he's just flailing his arms at him. It's Kung Pao Enter the Fist, is what you're thinking of.
fuck.
But
So good. Oh
um,
wait, on the waterfall. No.
I don't remember where.
Either way,
Yeah, they're
not
fighting
the
in the water, so yes.
Either way.
How about a paralyzer? And another
paralyzer.
paralyzer.
Yeah.
Really, man? Seriously? No, but
Yeah.
if
So that doesn't sound like it's very peaceful. It sounds.
it's not, like I said, it's not.
Okay.
It definitionally is not peaceful because one of the groups doesn't want peace. So you can never have peace until both groups want it.
Or. Yeah, okay, that's not the.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that would be peaceful.
Well,
That is the problem of the Israel-Palestine conflict and why it will continue until either. I mean, honestly, it'll continue until, like, probably Hamas is eradicated. I don't think it'll be a cultural genocide, but I just don't think it'll end until then.
okay.
What? Do you think it'll end before then?
Well, I was gonna ask. Did you ever look up however many supposed or claimed refugee sites or evacuation?
We're attacked by Israel? Or
Yeah,
what?
not necessarily attacked, but at least like bombed, artillery stroked.
It's at least stroked one out. What are you asking? I probably didn't look it up, but what are you asking? And I can.
Nothing. I am just asking something about
Because I'm more than happy to look it up.
people. Well, you are a very staunch supporter
Of the end of the conflict?
of the end of the conflict.
I would say I'm a very staunch supporter of the end of the conflict because I think it's really annoying.
Oh, yeah, brown people, they just won't shut
Yeah,
up.
I think that's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah,
That's what I'm hearing.
I bet that is what you're hearing, but that is definitely what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm definitely saying that the brown people conflict needs to end. That's what I'm saying. No, I'm saying like
They need to have a white person.
no.
come in
I'm
there
saying
and tell them
what I'm saying ultimately is, I think both groups are disincentivized to pursue peace, and I think that we, the U.S., should be leveraging our financial incentive to them to get them to pursue peace. That's what I'm saying. That's my belief. Now, will that happen? Probably not. Not until...
Wait, what was that thing you said earlier about Trump and a Nobel Peace Prize?
If Trump brought it into the conflict, like a peaceful into the resolution to the conflict where both sides agreed to peace, then he probably would deserve a Nobel Peace Prize for that. Well, you don't think so?
No, I am smiling at like the idea of Trump.
He really wants one really bad. Have
Yeah.
you not seen that?
I know he does.
He wants one. He craves it. He needs it bad. I don't know why.
Why do you think Netanyahu pandered to his like
Who?
fucking solipsistic like ideals to
Who's?
Trump's? Yeah, Netanyahu was
Yeah.
the one saying like, "Oh, I think he should have 3 peace prizes." It's because he knows like that's how you play a narcissist.
Yeah.
You just
I don't disagree.
stroke their ego.
But I don't think I don't think Trump's a fucking smart person. Trump's an idiot.
Absolutely.
But I would say that if he did actually bring a peaceful end to the conflict, a peaceful resolution, then yeah, he might be deserving of a peace prize.
No, and I'm
I don't remember what Obama's was for. We can look it up. Why was Obama given the Nobel Peace Prize?
I hope that it was like.
The Norwegian Nobel Committee announced the award October 9th. What were you going to say?
Oh, I was just gonna say like, was the epitaph on it of just like, thanks Obama?
It was for the nuclear non-proliferation, for a lot of,
Oh, for like
in general, trying to push for like nuclear deproliferation and trying to like stop an end to, yeah. It's more based on like policies and ideals rather than like actual probably acts.
rather than what?
Actual acts of. So by
You're
saying that
saying
we're
that-
holding a policy of like a governmental policy of like not using nukes and getting rid of nukes and putting nukes away and like
Yeah.
you can't hug your children with nukes.
Okay, well you can't negotiate with the
Well, I'm saying
supported.
it's not about him actually getting rid of nukes necessarily. It's probably more about him pushing for such policies and like and world sentiment world sentiment.
Oh well, good thing he really set the stage for Trump to make an impression,
Yeah.
make a splash.
So-
1998. It's a day I'll never forget. The cop inside me smiled that day. That day Raccoon City was lighted up. Thanks to the Christmas lights created by him.
Resident Evil 4 Christmas.
Is Chris a character?
No, well, Chris
Oh, that's
Chris
Leon.
Redfield is a character, but this is Leon. But it's Christmas. It's a bunch of stupid like AI TikToks of like of like video game Christmases.
I don't have my glasses on.
I don't know what this one is.
Oh my
it's,
god.
it's just really dumb shit, but I do think it's really funny.
Hey, that's your buddy Wesker.
Hell yeah, it is. We like Wesker, kind of. I wouldn't say we like him so much as like we think he's a really funny
Jack off
villain.
to him and that, what?
We think yeah, exactly what you were saying. We have a poster of him up on the wall, mostly nude, that we jack off to. No, because
Oh,
he's
yeah.
funny.
Look at that.
Testing out the magnets.
Yeah. On all your electronics.
Oh, I appreciate that.
I'm just gonna run it across all of the monitors here.
Please don't.
Okay, well I'll stop swinging it around.
Although I don't actually know how it affects new monitors, but I would still rather not find out.
Well, I've done it to one of those like old fucking.
I know I've seen. You have this super high powered magnet.
Wait, what? You were.
Hmm. Yeah, it was like a really like ovally one. I remember. You and Aaron used to fuck around with it. I think I did too. You fucked up the monitor for a while. I don't remember if it ever returned. I thought you kept trying to rub the magnet over it to try and get it to go back, but I
That
don't think
sounds
it
like
ever
something
did.
that I would do. Like,
Well, because it would usually go kind of back.
hold on, I'm almost done. Fuck. Almost done doing this stitch. I am getting hungry. At some point, I do need to go.
It's fine. You can go eat.
Yeah, but I feel like it's...
I feel like if I walk away, then I feel like I'm I'm losing. Yeah, you've never seen Westbound and Down, or Eastbound and Down, I'm guessing.
I've seen clips, but
There's this scene where he's like yelling at this kid, and he says to him, to the kid he like says something really bad, and then he's like, I genuinely regret saying that, but I'm still yelling because I feel like if I stop, that I've lost the argument. So I feel bad, but I'm going away, and I'm truly sorry. But he's like still yelling at them. It's just a really dumb scene, but it's funny.
have you seen the
No, but I want to. It looks good.
so good. I haven't seen Big Bang.
I've only heard good stuff about it. Same guy.
Yeah. I was gonna say John C. Reilly and Demon Pride.
Right. I always want to do that too. It's the guy that worked with Will Ferrell for a while. That guy. How's it going, Levi? You're lucky you weren't here earlier. You'd have had to listen to a bunch of conversation on the Palestine-Israel conflict. My favorite.
You know, it's good to get different viewpoints.
I think so.
As long as that view comes from a white man.
You mean a wasp?
Oh, what is that?
A white Anglo-Saxon person? You've never, yeah.
I have not heard that, no.
Gotcha, yeah.
I did not realize that's so based.
It is pretty based. Also, it's funny to call someone a wasp.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
In that sense, or just like,
What, in the white Anglo-Saxon sense?
yeah.
Yeah. No, it's like it's a term. It's a thing. It's a thing.
I'm sure it is.
I think this is the police station. Literally, we're at the police station. Look at that. Leon's running around down there.
I believe it. Damn, I gotta say, this fucking curtain is looking fine
Mm-hmm. How fine?
as wine.
Oh. Fine as wine. It does look pretty nice.
Like a
You're pretty
nice-
good on it.
Yeah, and I've still got my little bar, so that way I can slip that in, set, oh shit. Just slip it in there. Now I gotta go make a...
Oh, white Anglo-Saxon Protestant. Sorry.
Now, Protestant is like, what, a Christian sect?
Yeah. You got it.
That priest comes in.
Huh?
That's how I know I'm hungry.
What?
I'm like, oh, you didn't hear that?
Oh, no, I didn't.
Sorry, I was farting.
Oh, jeez.
Alright, let me go eat,
All right.
grab coffee.
Trying to trip and fall into a field of dicks on the way. I know that's in between here and the cafeteria, the good old dick fields. Of Nam.
Dick Fields.
Of Nam.
Yeah, it's gonna be like that gladiator scene where he's like
Love walking through
and
the field with the
she's
wheat.
Like, yeah,
Just running his hands over the...
tickling him.
Shut up. Sean had a nickel for every time he fell into the dick field. He'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot. But it's just weird that it's happened that many times.
Oh, I think that's a quote you told me. Yeah.
It's from like Final Fantasy VII. If I had a nickel for every time Sephiroth impaled me and held me up in the air, I'd have 2 nickels. Which isn't a lot, but it's just saying a lot that it's happened that many times. But it's just weird that it's happened 2 times. Oh man.
I thought there was it was in the Mask of Zorro.
Hmm.
The guy, he shoots this guy. He makes a comment of like, I have shot that man in midair twice.
I haven't seen it, I guess.
You haven't seen the Antonio Banderas?
I have not.
What the fuck, man?
I know, I'm the worst.
Oh wait, you grew up poor in the 90s.
Let's see, it said, Automata, I'd respect the hell out of you if you flag me for for the typo and not the PP word.
What?
No, then, because he said dick earlier when I was joking about the... So he got flagged for automod. It's like just trying to figure out if you're saying something naughty.
Oh, like the way there's a type censor?
Yeah. It's like it's just a censorship thing. And mostly it like censors like if somebody just joined into the chat and just started saying a bunch of racisms.
So like what nothing that we were talking about.
I don't think we've said any actual racisms.
Yeah, totally.
You think I've been saying some racist stuff? Maybe. I don't know. Shit.
I think
I might be the worst person.
you would have to acknowledge other races as
It flagged him for
equals,
PP.
So
Yeah, I don't acknowledge that other... I refuse to acknowledge that other people exist in this world.
exactly.
Yeah. It's my base right as an American.
And that is why we are the deciding
True.
factor.
Are you gonna go grab your other sewing stuff?
Yeah, I kind of want to start my other.
Night.
I was gonna call it a napkin. It's a curtain. Yeah, I'll be back.
Alright.
Can I leave that light there?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I could ask him, but I don't think he'll care. Oh, God. Did you stop that already? He's using your desk lamp. Woo, doggy. As an American, I have the God-given right to treat this planet like my own personal Mormon. Hell yeah. That's fucking cool. Shut up, Carlos. Thought I did too. This is what I mean by it's very action-y. Dodge, Jill, dodge. Stars. Carlos, I'm scared. Alright, let's back up here. Need to rewatch the second TikTok I sent with audio. I did listen to it with audio. Did it not play the audio? I listened to it with audio. This is the one with Leon. Oh. Hold on. I maybe didn't hear it from the beginning. That's fair. Okay, I didn't hear that part. No! What the fuck? It just takes so long to load. It like loads the video before it Quit limping like you're hurt. We just used the first aid, the green and red herb. You're good. You're good to go. You're golden. Merry Christmas, Wesker. Where did all these gifts come from? Streamlabs has crashed. Uh-oh. But it's still streaming.